Hellos and welcomes everyone, AnthWolf here with more Pillars of Eternity as always. We have arrived in Defiance Bay, the beginning of Act 2. Now, one of the main issues I don't really want to end Defiance Bay so much is because if we haven't concluded events in Gilded Vale, there may be a knock-on effect if we assist them and obviously change the rulership or the lordship I should say of Gilded Vale. Maybe people will react to us differently here. I say we haven't done anything there yet, but it's something I've been considering. But we'll step in anyway.
Those walls surround the whole city?
Oh, apparently so. And actually, you want to speak to us, don't you? Sigourney draws up beside you, her fox following at her heels, and takes a seat next to you.
Even if you are putting one over on me, it's nice to have a hunting party again.
Sounds like you've been gone from home a long time.
5 years for me. Must be 30-something for Ichimak.
I was gonna say, how is the search going? But that's kind of silly. Actually, yeah, we'll say that. How is the search going?
It's been a long hunt. A long time away from my family. Before, I'd crossed the tundra of Nasitok following caribou herds. I didn't want to leave Kalu and our children, but I was eager to visit lands my people rarely do. But 5 years without finding him. It's like 2 hours of necking. I'm ready to be done with it.
Why do you have to find Persok?
Soul recovery is an old village tradition. We call it the Tarnek Elite Sok. Once in a generation, we seek the soul of a much respected and long dead village elder. We tell him what's changed in the village, how people remember him. The only other Tarnek Elite Sok during my lifetime happened when I was a girl, not long after Persok died. We feasted on blubber and fermented milk for a week, and we honored the chosen huntress as a hero. Then she left, and we returned to our duties. We still sang her name to the skies during festival season, but we otherwise didn't speak of her.
What happened to her? Don't think she ever returned. It happens that way sometimes. I see.
It's not being forgotten by my village that troubles me. But sometimes I wonder how my husband and children remember me. If they think of me often.
That must be difficult.
Still, there's no point in dwelling on it. More often I find myself wondering whether Persok will remember us. You claim to see souls. What do you think? Do you remember your past lives?
Yes, in fragments. Not really understanding it, but I suppose I do. Really? What's it like? It's strange. Feels like I'm going crazy most of the time. I don't envy you. Guess I'm lucky. Oh, I only have to worry about someone else's past life.
Makes me wonder what Persok remembers about our village. Or if a turn at the wheel has yanked the details out of his mind like it does for most of us.
Has your village changed much since his time?
Masuk is probably much the same as it was 100 years ago. We live between tundra and frozen forests, and the land takes as much as it gives. But our hardships bring us together. And the elders truly unite us. They keep the stories of past generations, and they guide us from season to season, through good years and lean.
Recently there's been a lot of good years. My aunt say we've had fewer clashes with neighbouring villages thanks to the hunting territories that Persok helped establish. In bad years we rely on trade with the merchants that pass our shores. We exchange walrus tusks and seal pelts for grains that last us the hard winters. Persok brokered a lot of those agreements too. He got this one from the Amorna ships that used to trade with us. Ah, it's the bear figurine. Sounds like Persok did a lot for your people.
That's what I'm supposed to remind him.
Sounds like you're really on a hunt of your own now. You feeling the thrill of the chase? Or ready for this just to be over? It's too early to tell, actually. Fair enough. We might as well keep moving while we've got some daylight. Let's go then. Yeah. It's actually getting to know some of our companions a bit more. Oh, this is Rowan.
Yeah.
Let's read what he has to say. Down with animancy. Heritage Hill? Wonder what that is. Together we'll drive the blade of animancy from our city. Oh, great. Let's see what this Rowan character has to say then. Let's do a quick save. Rowan's arms are crossed and his mouth is set in a grim frown as he watches the gathered protesters. He looks ready for a fight. New in town, eh? You picked an interesting time to visit Defiance Bay. All these refugees fleeing the frontier and finding the legacies no better here. It's the Animancers. Migrants scorch them, and they nest in the city like rats. You mark my words though, us dozens are gonna put a stop to it. What are you doing out here? Trying to get the folk to see reason. We're in the midst of a crisis, and instead of purging the nefarious forces from our city, the Duke is granting Animancers dangerous liberties. What do you exactly know about animancy? It's the study and manipulation of essence, which any sane person will tell you that it's the purview of the gods. The Adrians at least had the sense to outlaw it, which is the only good thing you can say about them. It's not like magic, chanting, or the soul reading that the ciphers do. It's been around since ancient Wengriffian times, which is why you'll see Animancers tinkering with old Wengriffian artifacts. Kinda raises his fist to cough discreetly. Half-truths all. But he's an enthusiastic performer, I'll give him that. Trouble is, the Animancers got no idea that what half those artifacts actually do. Not that they'll admit it. Our empathic friend is correct about one thing at least. So tell me about your dozens. We're an organisation of interested citizens who want to free Defiance Bay from the dangerous influence of Animancers and the tyranny of the aristocrats who support them. We also consider ourselves a militia of sorts, seeing as the Crucible Knights are little more than a flock of preening nobles in training these days. Just like a militia, the dozens, except for the training, and the discipline, and the code of honour. And we're always looking to expand. The more people see things our way, the better for the state of the country. If you have any interest in hearing more, stop by Admeth's Den sometime. The Expedition Hall. A lot of free thinkers in there. Can set straight all the nonsense the nobles and the Animancers want you to believe. Might even be paid work there for motivated types. What can you tell me about Defiance Bay? This is the capital of the Free Palpatine of the Drywood. Oh, Palpinate, sorry, of the Drywood. We started out as the capital of the Adrian colony, but we booted the Flaccid Scepter from these lands 150 years ago. These days we're a major port receiving trade and visitors from all over the world. But we, some of us anyway, strive to hold on to the pioneering spirit that earned us our freedom a century and a half ago. The city is divided into 5 districts: Copperlane, First Fires, Andra's Gift, Blackenbury and Heritage Hill. Tell me about this Heritage Hill then. I've heard about it, you just mentioned it. He shivers. It used to be one of the more prestigious districts in the city. Heroes of the Revolution claimed plots up there, next to the ancient Engriffian Tower and the city cemetery. Had the best views in Defiance Bay. Attracts the richer types these days. A lot of animancy patrons. You wouldn't have heard, but something happened there a couple of months ago. The authorities sealed it off and they're keeping their mouth shut. But mark my words, animancy's to blame. Oh well, tell me around this place about Copperlane. This here's Copperlane. It's primarily a market district, but you've also got the Expedition Hall directly north of here, where you can join treks into the wilds. That's also where my fellow dozens martyrs and I tend to meet up with other concerned citizens. Points to the west and north. That's the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. Eerie place, you ask me. And they got the biggest library in the Drywood. Eerie indeed. It might be less so if more kith stepped inside. Perhaps we ought to visit and see just what mysteries are revealed. Tell me about Bakenbury. The nobility that didn't sail back to Adra stayed there. Most of the families there trace their lineage back to old imperial times. Other than a lot of has-been nobility, you've got Harriet House, where Lady Webb and her spies operate, and Brackenby Sanitarium, the main cesspit of animancy in the city. Tell me about the first fires. That's where the revolution started, hence the name. These days it's overrun with politicians and panderers, but we'll take it back someday. That's where you'll find the Ducal Palace, the Valian Embassy and Crucible Keep. The Crucible Knights were the original freedom fighters of Defiance Bay, but now they're just strutting peacocks with their eyes on fancy titles and their heads up their asses. There's an old temple to Wodegar there too. We keep it real nice for her. And tell me about the final place, Ondra's Gift. Got the name because it was a wetland that was drained back in the Imperial days. Now it's a seedy district populated by sailors, common folk, and more than a few folks. But it's a fun place too, if you know where to look. Look for a place called the Salty Mast when you're there. Other than that, it's the mostly warehouses and abandoned homes. Oh well, farewell then. So we got a kind of a half-tainted view of the entire Defiance Bay there. Let's do some exploring. The Goose and Fox. Oh, hello. Viserys. Let's reach out for your soul. You see a man crosses his arms and stick his chin out. Moonlight and torchlight colour his face. Bullshit. The elf standing in front of him wears a panicked expression. Are you mad? I've seen it. The first man cries, raising a triumphant finger. You just said you'd only heard it. The elf blinks. What in the name of Gallowayne's beasts does that have to do with anything? You said you'd only heard it, now you're telling me it's a monster the size of Tuamorna with blood-dyed fur. And now I'm saying you're a liar, Doran. The elf Doran splutters. Gods, Viserys, who cares what it looks like? It's a rabid wolf. You saw what it did to the sheep. You want to stay here all night to see the thing yourself? Have it your way. I'm getting out of here. Fine. Alright. Good. The elf storms off, casting one last glance over his shoulder as he disappears down a hill. The man sets off in the other direction, a sword in one hand and a torch in the other. Within minutes he comes to a broken paddock where dozens of sheep lie dead, their throats torn and their innards scattered across the ground. It is not the work of a normal predator. Something crunches through the dry grass. Viserys spins but sees nothing. He raises the torch higher. This time a rustling sound comes from behind him near the paddock. He turns to see a wolf. It's not nearly as large as Doran had sworn, and while its fur is matted with red around the throat and paws, the rest of the elf's description has proven to be rather lurid exaggeration. Typical. Viserys takes some small satisfaction from this even while the wolf lunges for him, its jaws foaming and its eyes rolling. Huh, interesting. Well, let's have a pop into the Goose and Fox then. I wonder if it's an inn or a tavern of some kind. That kind of name I wouldn't be too surprised. Yeah, definitely a tavern. There's quite a few people here actually. Rather colourful people at that. Never godlike. Welcome to the Goose and Fox. Thank you. quick save and let's talk to Bishop here.
Hail and well met.
This is a lively place. It was founded in the early days of Dryrodian independence by a travelling scholar named Errol of Levy. He wanted a place where the kith of all backgrounds could gather and hash out the issues facing their new country. It didn't take long for the pace to fill up. Brackenbury aristocrats argued with dock workers from the Gift while soldiers wrangled with politicians. Dryrodians have never been known to turn down an argument. I imagine things got interesting. Soon kith were coming from the farms and settlements too. This place got even more popular with the Valalian soldiers than the Salty Mist. And that was the problem. No matter what people say about their fair-mindedness and civil debate, there's only so much people would tolerate. Errol found himself on the wrong side of an argument with the wrong Thane, and when he disappeared a few days later, some said it was the work of that Thane. But Errol knew which way the wind was blowing if you ask me. He skipped town, head out somewhere, hoping for rational minds to prevail in Defiance Bay. If only you could see it now. Can I get a room? I'll show you what I got. You have quite a few rooms. I think we should, let's rest up in the common room. We're probably fatigued from our journey here. And we have quite a few people we can peer into the souls of. There's a noble with a bodyguard there. A miserable bastard, you say? Who are you? A woman sits by herself, spinning something on the table in front of her, watching it with furious intensity. It's about the size of a coin, and it wobbles over a crack in the wood with a metallic rattle. She snatches it up with one hand. This is not a good time. It looks like you could use another drink. I'll get there. Just trying to calm down and trying to talk myself out of doing something foolish. Something foolish? She says nothing for a few moments, hoping that you'll leave. Alas Canera looks up at you. The lamplight falls across her face. A purpling bruise has blossomed along her cheekbone. There's something I need to give to my fiancé, Pernsnick. If only he doesn't seem to go anywhere without his new friends, and they're not exactly pleasant company. Who hit you? She shakes her head. I know how this looks, but you don't understand. It's not like Pernsnick. It's these new friends of his. They've brought out the worst in him. Tell me about these new friends. They come into our house with their dead eyes and their black teeth. I'm not a fool, I know what it means. Pernsnick makes me leave when they show up, but it's obvious what they do. Last time they came, I told them to get out. Let them have their fun elsewhere in the Gift, but not under my roof. Sniff changes you, I guess. The Pernsnick I knew wouldn't have squashed a spider. I never thought he'd. And we now have a survival and intellect roll we can use. I thought Sniff just made you lay around not doing much. I don't really know. Seemed better than believing he's always been this way. Maybe I can go talk to him for you. She rests her hand on the table and clenches it into a white-knuckled fist. There's nothing more to say to him. We're finished. I just want to give this back to him and have a clean break. She opens her hand and a ring clatters onto the table. It was his grandmother's. Even after this, I don't have the heart to sell it off. But if I go back there myself, I know what'll happen. I'll lose my temper, and I'll probably wind up with another one of these. I wouldn't normally hand this off to a stranger, but people say you've got a good heart. If you give this back to him, he'll know we're done. Right, so because we have a benevolence of 2, Kiuna here is willing to hand us off the key. Off the ring, sorry. Interesting. I'll take the ring back to Pernsnick then. And because we have a diplomacy of 2, the house is just north of here, just please don't hurt him. I'm sending someone with your charm to keep anyone from getting hurt again. That goes for Pernstick as well as me. Oh well. So I didn't really want to talk to too many people. I didn't want to get involved, but because of our benevolence and diplomacy, we've picked up a new side quest to return a ring. And it's apparently in our stash. Oh, that's a hound. A gold band laced with Adra accents. Let's see, there's plenty of people we can talk to here and look into their souls. I think I will leave that for the next video though. Defiance Bay is probably going to have a lot of talking in it. It's probably going to ruin my throat and annoy me, no doubt. I wouldn't mind just getting back to some action. But I suppose it's all for a good cause. So, this is AnthWolf, and this of course has been Pillars of Eternity. So feel free to leave comments below, and I will see you for more in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye now.